Hey, this is Keith from Save the Rust. So today I thought I'd show you one of my most prized possessions. This is my 1913 Indian Twin. This is a 1000cc, I believe it's 61 cubic inch, single speed, and I got this about 5 years ago. Kind of about the same shape. It was all in pieces. Got it locally off a friend of mine who had gotten a complete collection of vintage Indians from a couple of brothers in North Dakota, United States. He bought all these projects so he could keep one or two other things that he got with it, and decided to sell this one. And I just happened to be calling him to actually ask him about a 1915 Cleveland that he had, but he had just recently sold it. Because at the time I was looking for a teens motorcycle. One of my dreams was always do the Cannonball, the pre-16 Cannonball. And if you don't know what that is, that's a race coast to coast. It gets put on every couple of years. Just an incredible race with over 100-year-old motorcycles. I hope to do it one day. It's definitely top of the bucket list. And I bought this to do that race. And so it's got a lot of good parts. It's a good start. It's just, I got to get on it. I got to start working on it. So we'll go through some of the interesting pieces of this bike, and I'll try and tell you as much as I know about it. So imagine 1913. You know, it's been 10 years since the Wright brothers had their historic flight. That was 10 years since Harley started. All the roads basically in North America were dirt. There's probably some gravel, but I don't even know if there was any actual pavement. Probably in a couple of cities, possibly. So in 1913, one of the unique advancements that Indian came up with was leaf spring rear suspension. They came in the back and on the front. Then they went one step further and they did it on the seat. So it goes into the front here too. So you have three different kinds of suspension on this bike. So that was quite advanced at the time. And I mean, we used leaf springs in cars till 1980s, something like that. Maybe even, on heavier trucks still to this day. But in 1913, Harley was still rigid frame. And I'm not even, there's a lot of manufacturers out there, so they might have had something similar, but I'm not aware of any others at this point. So 61 cubic inch, 1000cc. I think this was a 7 horsepower motor, probably capable of, 50 miles an hour, 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. I guess it all depends on the road. So this bike, it's this guy, supposedly these brothers had it for like 50 years in North Dakota. They, found a piece here, found a piece there. But some of the pieces on here are an unbelievable shape. The seat is just, it's still pliable. I wouldn't want to move it too hard because it might crack. I've been treating it since I've gotten it. But it's really hard to see in the right, you have to get in the right light. But you can see Indian motorcycle, not motorcycle, motorcycle. And you can still see the Indian head. It's just unbelievable condition. And on the back, it's messenger seat. And I was lucky enough a couple years ago, came across another one. And it was funny, I didn't even realize it was an Indian seat until, I kind of looked close and there's that famous Indian head. So I believe this one is a rear seat setup. I can't confirm it because I'm not I haven't done enough research on it, but there's some different bracketry on here, and underneath it's different also. So this could have been from an earlier seat or later tandem seat. So I'm not sure. So, you know, at one point they did have 2 seats in the back, but I won't be doing that on this one. So one of the things that when I show friends this bike, you know, it's really neat. It's, you know, it's got a lot of different unique features on it, and one of them is this. So this is the lever. This is the throttle. So look at all the mechanism it has. It's all these pieces of steel. So it would go in through the handlebars here, and then come out here, right on this point. Okay. So it would look like this, and this would turn, you know, and what it would do is it would come out through the handlebars, come out, and then with a telescopic rod, it would go to this point. When this turned, that turned this piece, which went to another rod, which went to another rod, and that was what turned your carburetor, and then the other side your ignition. So that would have been your throttle, which is really unique, because now everything's, you know, not everything, but everything to a point was cable. And this was just pieces of steel that were bent, and they, you know, when they turned it, they turned. So hard to kind of explain it, but I hope you get the understanding. But what a unique kind of piece that they came up with. You know, they were very smart back then. You know, the cables, what I understand is Indian didn't want to pay the licensing for the cable. Like, so I guess someone invented cables. They didn't want to pay for it till I think 1916. Now, don't quote me on everything. I mean, I'm just trying to remember stuff off the top of my head. So, as you can see, this gas tank, it will have to get replaced. It's just rotten in too many spots. It's split, but it's there. You know, very cool. This came with it. I'm not 100% correct if that's correct for 1913. On the inside here, you can see it's I think it's a coaster. I think that's what they call it, a coaster brake. So it's an exterior brake lining, a brake shoe, that when you pull this lever, it kind of cinches the brake drum and slows you down. It also has a rear stand that kicks up, folds back into here, rear rack. Some interesting castings, you know, they had to do that for the leaf spring. Now this bike is just loosely bolted together. I have to spend some time on it and actually bolt up all the rest of the parts. I finally got some rear engine mounts, so I'll put those on. And one of the things I got to do is, if you notice, the heads kind of protrude the same way. So I got 2 rear heads. So I need a front barrel head. So I'm looking for one of those. Carburetor's on the other side. And yeah, it's 110 years old. It's pretty cool. So then we get to the front. You'll notice right away, no front brake. I mean, Harley didn't even have a front brake till 28 or 29, something like that. So that wasn't uncommon to not have a front brake on early motorcycles. Here's an old klaxon horn. Still works. Not great, but it still works. So you can see this leaf spring is broken from the front, but you can see how the fender is actually 2-piece. It actually, this piece floats up with the wheel and the whole Springer assembly. So as the front end's going up and down with the, you know, hitting bumps and the suspension getting used, the front fender actually floats with it. The back fender doesn't. Early carburetor. These are pretty hard to find, but yeah, chain guards there. You know, so I got lots of pieces. I'll show you, I got a lot more for it. Oil pump. This is the I guess clutch. I think that's for the clutch. Like I say, it's been a while since I've even looked at this bike. One of the other things that I got to replace is the magneto. So this is a single pole magneto, so I need a dual pole. 2 barrels, 2 poles. This is for a single. So in 1913, you could get, there's 4 models. 1913 single speed. So single cylinder, single speed. 1913 single with a transmission 2-speed. 1913 twin with single speed, which is this model, and then a 1913 twin with a transmission and 2 gears. So this is what this would have looked like, you know, back in fully restored, you know, incredible restoration on a 1913 twin. So here's the crank. So this is a pedal start model. This would have went into this here. And it's actually, if you look at it this way, you see this lobe here? It's concentric. So what that means is when it's in here, you loosen these bolts and you rotate it, and that actually is your chain adjustment. And then your axle plates would actually be a secondary chain. But another cool feature that I was lucky to get is this 1913 Manitoba porcelain plate. Now it's hard to read the numbers, but I believe that's 351. And from what I was told, it was found underneath a sidewalk in the north end of Winnipeg when they were repouring the sidewalk in that area. I understand there's less than 10 known to exist of these plates, so I was just happy to be able to get it to, you know, put it on this 13 Indian. So some of the other parts we've got some engine plates, a couple more another set of engine plates. These are rubbers for the leaf spring front end, leaf springs. There's a variety of motor parts here, some valves, which are really interesting too. You know, just the design, they're just quite different. This is your push rods, you know, some pistons, and the flywheel assembly, which you don't see that too often. You can put your hand right through the flywheel assembly. That's wild. That's, you know, nothing like anything I've seen before. You know, they're usually, that's all full. And, yeah, a couple more pieces. You know, this is going to take a few years to do, but, I don't know, it'll be a fun bike to ride, that's for sure. One of the things I've also got for the bike, this is a acetylene light. This is about 1895 to about 1915. It's pretty cool. It'll look awesome on there. Don't worry, it won't be riding at night. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now, everything I said isn't gospel. You know, it's not, I don't have all this information just written down in front of me. I just, you know, going off the top of my head, what I remember, and trying to educate people on, you know, some early stuff, and, you know, showing some cool pieces, you know, that you don't usually see, especially not restored. And This will get restored. We will do it here. Just you'll have to follow, like, and subscribe. I hope you enjoy the channel so far. This is what we do. This is who we are. We are Save the Rust.